is carbs up, pounds down, and you're going to learn exactly how to kick your fear of carbs to the curb and indulge in real, beautiful, delicious food while you shed the pounds diet-free forever. So we are diet rebels. We are not dieting anymore. We are not tracking macros, counting calories or carbs or any of that stuff. We're not doing tiny portions. We are not starving or fasting or any of that. So let me know in the chat box if you want to learn more about exactly how we're going to kick your fear of carbs to the curb, because that's what we need to do. We need to like unlearn. I'm going to go ahead and start. Unlearn this fear of carbs. Go ahead and open the chat box. So that's what we need to do. We need to unlearn this fear of carbs, because this fear of carbs is not going to help us. And as long as we're afraid of carbs, which could be potatoes, it could be breakfast cereal, it could be fruit, it could be pasta, bread, all of these things, corn even, all of these things, if you're afraid of them and you don't eat them, you will not have success with the whole food, plant-based, no oil way of eating. What are we doing in this Diet Rebels group, right? We are Diet Rebels. So do you have a problem with being overweight or obese? Do you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure? Please put it in the chat so that we know we're not alone. Do you want to get off daily meds for these issues? Do you have blocked arteries or heart disease? Are you a cancer patient or a cancer survivor or a previvor? I'm a cancer survivor. I had breast cancer 10 years ago already. Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired all the time, and you want to feel like high vibe, and you want your energy and your stamina and your active life back? You just want to feel better. So either way, you're probably here to do something about it, right? You may have been stuck about this and thought that you can't overcome it and that there's nothing you can do. And I know exactly how that feels, because that's what the oncologist told me when I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2014. And that cancer treatment left me terrified that cancer would come back. So you guys who know me, know my story, you know that I was furious at my oncologist for telling me that it doesn't matter what you eat to avoid a breast cancer recurrence. And I went home and I was Google searching food and cancer, nutrition, and breast cancer. And I came across the documentary Forks Over Knives. And that's where I heard Dr. T. Colin Campbell, these researchers saying that they found that eating animal protein turns cancer cells on and not eating animal protein turns cancer cells off. And I thought, this is the thing for me. And it turned that whole protein thing on its head for me. And so when I stopped eating animal foods and oils, I lost about 3 pounds per month, not dieting for nearly a year, because I didn't even know that this was a weight loss thing. I thought I was doing it to avoid cancer, and the pounds just were coming off, which is so cool. So cool. Pam says, weight, meds, and I want to feel better. Yes, definitely. So, so for nearly a year, I just cooked the food and ate the food. I didn't focus on weight loss at all because I didn't know that that was a thing. And I lost the 42 pounds that I was carrying at the end of breast cancer treatment. And if I can do it, so can you. That's the truth. And I'm trying to move forward here. This is getting in my way. Because I want to show you things tonight, and that's why I can't just talk through it. I want to show you things. Okay, here we go. But even though you have heard this medical evidence, you still have these nagging questions about carbs that might keep you stuck. Okay, so let me know if any of these questions are questions that you've had about carbs. Okay, won't eating too many carbs make me gain weight? What if I have diabetes? My doctor told me I shouldn't eat any white foods. Have you heard that one about the white foods? No potatoes, no white bread, no white pasta, no white potatoes. I bet you've heard that one. I've heard that protein regulates blood sugar. Is that true? What's the best way to eat carbs for health? What even are carbs? Like, we just demonize them. We don't even know what they are. Why are keto diets and carnivore diets bad when my friend over there has lost weight on them, or my husband lost weight on it? I know of somebody whose husband lost all that weight on it, but she didn't lose any weight on her plant-based diet, so her husband thinks she's crazy. And that's because she's doing the plant-based diet wrong. So that's what we're talking about here tonight. So do I have to count carbs to eat this way? No. Do carbs turn into fat inside the body? Aren't carbs too high in calories for me to lose weight? Well, if they're donuts, yes, but all the other unrefined, complex, whole food carbohydrates we're going to talk about tonight, no. So let's get these questions answered so that I can show you the secrets of eating carbs for weight loss and ultimate health. So get ready to take notes. Okay, get out a notebook and a pen. But first, who am I to answer all these questions? Because I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor. Okay, but I am. Here's somebody coming in, but I am an expert in helping people through the transition of adopting a whole food, plant-based, no oil way of eating, which is essentially carbs, to lose weight and get the serious health benefits. I am an expert in that, and that is what we do in my private groups and programs. And those are the things that I'm coaching on in this Diet Rebels, in this We Are Diet Rebels free Facebook group. And I want you to know that this is backed by powerful information, backed by the best non-food, non-pharma industry science. So for example, Kaiser Permanente, the largest managed care plan in America, advises their doctors to prescribe a plant-based diet first. And this is the 20-page booklet they give to their patients who are overweight, have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or high A1C levels. They prescribe diet first. And I urge you all to learn more about the scientific evidence for the whole food, plant-based, no oil way of eating. And the China study is one of the original ones where Dr. T. Colin Campbell talks about the largest population study that found these results. And then there's How Not to Die by Michael Greger. Who's read these books? Let me know which one or both that you've read. And if you've seen the documentary, What the Health, where the plant-based physicians talk through all this medical evidence. And there are many, many, many more books and documentaries. Okay, so you want to hear this from the plant-based physicians, not just me. You want to hear plant-based physicians, public health policy experts, plant-based nutritionists tell you this in all sorts of different ways, so that you can get this information from experienced, reputable nutrition researchers and clinicians. Okay, so so definitely make note of those. Understanding these truths about eating whole food, unrefined carbohydrates is going to be game-changing for you. So get ready to make a divine pact with yourself right now to step into your power so that you can finally experience the wellness that is actually your birthright that we were born with. Okay, so here are a couple of Diet Rebel success stories from my private client Diet Rebel 6-week and 12-week program. And this is an example of how we reverse type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes by eating carbs this way that I'm going to teach you tonight. And that's whether you have 10 pounds to lose, like Ada over here on the left, or 100 pounds to lose. Okay? Type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes, and it's the exact same prescription thing, food, for reversing high blood pressure and high cholesterol by eating carbs the right way, whether you have 10 pounds to lose or 100 pounds to lose. So I want you to see that no matter where you fall on how overweight you are, depending on your own personal makeup, is how you will experience obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high glucose. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you have 10 pounds to lose or 100 pounds to lose, and you're suffering from these health conditions, switching to this way of eating can solve the problem real quick. So let's discuss these secrets of how to eat carbs the right way for weight loss and solving your health problems. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Linda said she read the China study and How Not to Die and many others and has seen all the movies. Somebody who is unnamed has done all three. Pam read How Not to Die and another one. So this is great. You always want to keep reading and keep learning. This is wonderful. Okay. All right. Secret number one. The real reason, and let me know if you've ever had that face or felt like you woke up like you've been on the worst diet ever, right? You're dieting, you're starving, you're trying to lose weight, you don't really, you're working out like a fiend, and you feel like there's like a cloud, a dark cloud over you when you wake up in the morning. Secret number one, this is the real reason you feel so tired and grumpy and drained every time you cut carbs on the latest caveman, carnivore, or keto style diet, no matter how much protein and fats that you eat. Okay. So what I want you to think about is, what is your body's and brain's main source of energy? It's glucose. It's those simple sugars that come in starches and in fruits and vegetables. So what happens when you deprive your body of carbohydrates, which supply your body with glucose? Well, it doesn't have its main source of energy. So you have fatigue and low energy. You might have brain fog and confusion, terrible breath, moodiness, irritability, hunger, thirst, and headaches. I used to be a big headache getter, and starving on diets was absolutely horrible. Let me know in the chat if you have ever felt this way last time you were on a terrible diet. Let me know. Fatigue, low energy, brain fog, confusion, bad breath, moodiness and irritability, hunger and thirst, and headaches. Why starches? What's the deal with starches? What is the research showing? Okay, so who's read the Starch Solutions or seen the Blue Zones movie that just came out, or read any of Dr. Joel Fuhrman's books? Take notes. If you haven't read these books, write them down. So these are researchers who have found that populations around the globe who live the longest with the least amounts of disease, of all disease mortality rates, all types, and the leanest body weights are those who eat a starch-centered diet, and that our bodies are primarily primed for the energy source of glucose, the simple sugars and carbohydrates that carbohydrates break down into for your body to use. Also, your brain's only source of fuel is glucose. It only runs on glucose. It does not run on fat or protein at all. That's the reason for the brain fog. Interesting science fact, starches contain a hydrogen-oxygen ratio of 2:1, which is the same as water. So when your body uses them efficiently, they are gone. They do not turn into fat. Okay? They only turn into fat if you're eating them in the form of donuts and high-fat junk food, processed foods. Then yes, they turn into fat because there's an excess of calories and an excess of fat. But as you're going to see, as we keep talking about it, the whole food complex, unrefined carbohydrates have the same hydrogen-oxygen ratio of 2:1 as water. And when your body uses them, they disappear. They're used for energy. Starches are plant parts that contain very large quantities of carbohydrates, and therefore they can actually sustain human life. Potatoes, for example, corn. So think about, what did cultural populations subsist on back before we had food stores and even farms, right? So Indians, it was, and in South America and Central America and in the United States, it was corn, maize, right? In lots of other populations, it's beans. In other populations, it's potatoes. Okay. So most of all, aside from all of that, there's even more. Starches provide satiation and comfort. They feel good and they taste good. So then all of a sudden we love what we're eating. So then we're not dieting. Are you getting some light bulbs here? Deborah's saying Dr. John McDougall is the starch solution. Definitely, definitely. And yes, these starches and these unrefined carbohydrates feed the good bacteria in your gut. And so that's another reason why it's so important. So let's get a little science nerdy here on the different types of carbs, okay? Just so that we understand what we're talking about, right? Simple carbohydrates are the sugars. Short chain carbohydrates, which include fructose and glucose. They are quickly digested and absorbed by the body, and this includes fruits and non-starchy vegetables. So fruits, for example, watermelon is quickly digested in 20 minutes. The vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals, the antioxidants, the fiber, the fluids, they all go zooming through your body in 20 minutes on an empty stomach. So that's why you want to eat that on an empty stomach. All the other juicy fruits take about 30 minutes. And so that's apples and pineapple and pears and things like that, grapes. And then the non-starchy vegetables, like all of the greens and all of those things, and zucchini and things like that, those take just a little bit longer. Then we have the complex carbohydrates, which are the starches, which is where the fiber is. Also, these long chain carbohydrates digest slowly, and they include starchy vegetables like peas, corn, beans, lentils, soybeans, split peas, and grains like oats, barley, and rice. And it's that fiber that slows down the absorption of the sugars. Okay, so that's why those complex carbohydrates, those starches, are so important, especially for somebody with high glucose levels. Okay, so here's some other definitions. Unrefined carbohydrates are those foods in their whole natural states. So fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. Whenever I say kidney beans or apples or zucchini or potatoes, fruits, vegetables, grains, or quinoa or rice, those are whole foods. Refined carbohydrates are parts of foods added to other parts, and that's how we make processed foods. Now, some breads and pastas are also made of refined carbohydrates, and we try to buy those in a multi whole grain form. Okay. Anybody have any questions so far? You can go ahead and put them in the chat. So Dr. John McDougall said this, and I thought it was so good that I'm going to read it to you. All right. He said, until you realize that you are a starch eater, the solution to your health and weight problems is going to remain elusive. And once you understand that the bulk of your diet must come from starches like rice, corn, beans, potatoes, sweet potatoes, then everything will fall into place. You will now think, oh, this is making sense now. And that's how I want you to feel after this whole presentation. The program is easy to follow. The foods are delicious and we love it. It's satisfying. The excess body fat just disappears. The bowels work. Laboratory tests now are great, and mental and physical energy become boundless. Most importantly, with starches at the center of your meals, you feel a sense of well-being and control because you're not starving yourself. You have finally come home to your way to your food. And this way of eating is for life. That's the author of The Starch Solution. So what we're learning is that low carb diets, anything low carb, if you're trying to make the whole food plant-based diet low carb, you're going down the wrong path. You're going off the path. Low carb diets for those reasons that we just discussed. And I'm going to be showing you the right ways, okay? Low carb diets are just not sustainable because A, you're miserable, and B, they don't supply your brain and muscles with appropriate energy. And that's why they're not medically tested long-term, because they are dangerous, because the human body needs the carbohydrates. It is one of the macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And the way I teach the whole food, plant-based, no oil way of eating, it's an 80-10-10 way of eating. This is the way the whole food, plant-based physicians have laid it out. 80% carbohydrates that we just discussed, 10% fat, and 10% protein. That's how we do this for weight loss, right? So you need to learn how to eat carbs the right way, right? Is that right, you guys? Let me know in the chat. All right, secret number 2 for eating it the right way is this is the one scientific fact about whole food carbohydrates that you need to know to feed your body all the nutrition it needs while losing the weight effortlessly, like I described in the very beginning. It's because they fill you up with fiber and nutrients with very few calories, no cholesterol, and very little fat. So these starches are high in fiber. They have very few calories, no cholesterol, and very little fat. So take a look at this chart here. And that's the secret to how this works, so that you can fill up on these things and you concentrate on the ones you love, and you fill up on these fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. Look, there's pasta, right? You fill up on these in beautiful dishes. Like, who here has tried my delicious recipes? Because what I'm all about is making it delicious, not just having like this terrible plate of plain steamed potatoes and steamed vegetables. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making it delicious. You are going to see that soon. Okay, so like a black bean chili, a red lentil soup, a chickpea smash, okay, a beautiful pasta primavera with tons of tomatoes and garlic and vegetables that you love, all of this kind of stuff, okay? Okay. So let's move on to secret number 3. No, let's not. Let's first say, what are whole plant food carbs, right? They are what I just said before. They are fruits and vegetables at the bottom of the pyramid. That's the bulk of what you're going to be eating, the starchy carbohydrates. Then the grains and the beans. And you're going to have the smallest amount of the high-fat plant food. So what is that? Nuts, avocado, coconut, olives, things like that. Okay, so this pyramid does not include any of the vegan processed foods. It does not include Beyond Burgers, Ritz crackers, Bisquick, Oreos, Just Egg, Just Mayo, or any of those processed food ingredients or foods that you find in the supermarket. And a lot of people who get started on a vegan diet, they don't know this difference. And that's why I want you to know this difference. Okay, any questions about that? Go ahead and let me know. Okay, so here's a Diet Rebel success story. This is the incredible shrinking Patty. And no more overeating. This junk food vegan cured her constant cravings by eating delicious meals like this, exactly what we are talking about today. She's lost nearly, I think 78 pounds. Okay, like, look at this, you guys. All right, now, secret number 3. This is how to stop feeling deprived, stop counting calories or carbs, stop restricting portions and other diety crap that just leaves you ashamed and feeling guilty about every bite. The secret is called calorie density, okay? And so it's the amount of food that it takes up in your stomach, the amount of space it takes up in your stomach to trigger satisfaction for the same amount of calories. So here's a picture of 500 calories in your stomach. Okay, so if you eat 500 calories of oil, you already way overate, and then you're still starving because your stomach is like, hey, you didn't put anything in here. If you eat cheese, nuts, and butter, you ate 500 calories, but you're still starving. You see that? But if you eat potatoes, rice, and beans, you could eat 500 calories and you'll be like half full, and you could still eat more, right? Because it's only 500 calories. You could still eat more. Lean meat and fish takes up a lot of space in the stomach, but it's also loaded with saturated fat and cholesterol, toxic metabolic compounds, and carcinogens. So this is not going to help you to reduce high cholesterol or anything else. Okay, so, and look at the fruits and veggies. So let's say that you took 100 calories of veggies and put them with the potatoes, rice, and beans, and then your stomach was full up. So eating according to calorie density, this is why weight gain is inevitable with animal foods and oils, and why eating a low-fat, whole food, plant-based meals results in satisfaction and weight loss. Let me know if this is making sense to you guys, because this is the crux. This is the crux of it right here. Okay, you take the potatoes, rice, and beans, and you take however much of the fruits and veggies you want, you put them together, you only had 600 or 700 calories, and you are full up. See how that works? All right. So this is exactly the same way that my diet rebel client, Leah, became the incredible shrinking Leah. So and she lost 40 pounds in these 6 months. Look at this difference, you guys, proving to herself that losing weight and knowing what to eat doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be hard. Okay. So let's move on to secret number 4. Look at that giant platter of maple salted cracked popcorn I've got on my lap. Yes, my husband and I ate that whole thing watching a movie. Here's your secret phrase to check yourself to know if you've eaten the right amount of carbs that day. All right, this is all you have to focus on. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to track macros or carbs or protein or points or watch your portion sizes. Little aside story. We once had a woman come into one of the Diet Rebel groups. She came into the first meeting and I said, okay, before we start the lesson work, does anybody have any questions? And she's like, yeah, what are the portions? And I laughed and I giggled and I was like, there are no portions. And all the ladies in the group laughed. And I was like, ladies, would you like to explain why there's no portions? And each woman, one by one, told her how this way of eating actually recalibrates your innate appetite mechanism so that your stomach comes back online and it actually lets you know when it's full, like the pictures we just saw, so that you don't need portions to tell you. And because you're eating low-fat, whole food, plant-based, no oil, whatever you eat is going to be used by your body efficiently, and there's not going to be any leftover. And that's how it works. Okay. That's how the portions work. It allows you to be able to say to your own stomach and self, is this enough food for me? Yes or no? Should I eat more? Or does this look like too much what I put on my plate? Do I want more? And you start to like ask yourself that question and get in tune with your body and let it tell you. So here's an example of a day of food: fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. You just say that to yourself: fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. Did I eat all of these today? So here's some examples of naturally vegan whole food meals and snacks made with simple, inexpensive ingredients. Here's the rice and beans with corn, a little bit of avocado. You see how 80% carbohydrates, 10% protein, 10% fat. You see that? Same here in the sandwich. No fat here in the oats and a smoothie. You see how filling this is, how good this is? This is the same way that the incredible shrinking Carla, another one of my private Diet Rebel success stories, has lost also 38 pounds. I think she might be up to 39 pounds right by now. 100% whole foods, plant-based, no oil, loving what she's eating, not dieting, and still losing weight. So do you wish this was you, right? So what's the phrase? Fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. So you're going to say to yourself, did I eat all of these today? Naturally vegan, whole food meals and snacks made with simple, inexpensive ingredients. Who wants a big giant plate of pasta like this and still lose weight? A pound every week. Who wants that? Seriously. All right. Secret number 5. How to finally know exactly what to eat and watch the pounds melt away forever. The secret is just add carbs. That's the secret. So if you're sitting there trying to eat salads for weight loss and you're just eating lettuces and tomatoes and onions and sprouts, what do we need to do? We need to just add carbs. So what did I do here to do that? I added quinoa and I added carrots. Let's look at some more examples. Here on the left, I added rice and some rice and beans. Here I added my falafel croutons, and over here I added hummus, which is chickpeas. If you had beans, you could just add chickpeas, right? So this is how my Diet Rebel clients eat salads and lose weight and feel amazing. So do you think that your energy and your stamina would return to you if you ate this way, in a way that's loaded with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, fiber, starches, and fluids like this? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Does your salad look like this before you mix it up? Just add carbs. So what did we add here? What's the carb? What did we add here? What is the carb? You can see that there's the regular greens, there's celery. Here is some steamed asparagus. We have olives. We have olives. We have roasted red peppers, carrots, onions, and tomatoes, celery. All of these things make so many different tastes and textures. And then we added the carbs, which is the rice. Okay, that's what makes all the difference here. So I'll teach one carb-rich dish in so many different ways so that you can make a salad out of it. You can make a meal out of it. You can make a wrap out of it. You could do different things with it. So what does it take to really have this type of a health turnaround? That's why you're here, right? So what it takes is being sick and tired enough of being so sick and tired of yourself this way that you'll do anything to overcome it, that you'll go through a learning curve, that you'll have talks with family members, that you're going to pay for new foods and appliances or support or classes that you need along the way, that you're going to try cooking this new way, that you're going to put your learning into practice, put your money where your mouth is, and that you're going to speak up for yourself and your values at every chance, because that muscle gets stronger with practice. Okay. So I'd like to know if you have, I'm going to stop my share for a minute here. I'd like to know if you have any questions so far on the 5 secrets for eating carbs the right way? Or did you have any aha moments? Let me know. I'd be happy to unmute. You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to have a little chat about it. Okay. All right. And let me know in the chat if you have any comments at all, any questions or any comments, because I'm here to answer those. Martha's saying, what about extreme cravings? Great question, Martha. So when you eat the starches, right, when you eat the glucose and when you eat enough glucose, that triggers your brain and your body that you had the glucose already and you loved it because you love potatoes, rice, bread, pasta, those things. And it triggers your brain that you've had it already, and the cravings subside very, very quickly, sometimes in the first or second week of making the switch 100%. Does that sound hopeful? Does that feel better? Very common question, really good question. Anybody else? Okay. So, what you really need now, right, is if you understand this, and Martha, I urge you to go back through the replay video like tomorrow when I send it, and like go through the part about why the starches are so satisfying. And that's because, and that's how they cut the sugar cravings and the food cravings and the overeating cravings. And one other portion of the overeating cravings and the food cravings is coping skills for real life. This is something that we're not going to cover on this webinar. This is food-based, but in my private Diet Rebel programs, we cover improving self-care, limiting beliefs, coping skills for emotional eating, and reversing it. So now what you really need to know is how to make yourself a whole food, plant-based food plan that's going to work for you, right? Because right now, when you go shopping, you might be wandering up and down every aisle, looking for the BOGOs, looking through the produce aisle and deciding what looks good. Let me know if any of these are you, because this is how I used to do it. And then you get home with a bunch of random stuff like rhubarbs and mushroom. And you have to scramble to find recipes to use up the weird combination of stuff you bought. Or worse, it lies wilting in the fridge until you have to throw it out, which you beat yourself up for doing, right? Who's ever beaten themselves up for, oh, I wasted that food again? Or, and this was me, I would send my husband, who's a husband sender. Or you end up back at the store every couple of days to pick up things to complete recipes that you end up deciding on, but you don't have enough stuff because you didn't have a plan and you don't have enough stuff, right? You don't have the things that you actually need. Okay. So that's what happens when you go shopping without a plan. So that is not a plan, and that is not going to help you work this whole food, plant-based, no oil plan in a way that you're going to love, that's going to help you lose the weight and solve your health problems, or that's going to be easy enough to stick to work in your particular life with your particular time constraints. And in addition, your particular likes and dislikes. This is why you can't just download you can't just download some meal plan from the internet, because it's not going to work for your likes and dislikes, your life, and your time constraints. It's just not going to work. And that's why you haven't been able to stick to it yet. So you know what is going to help you exponentially. I have a way to show you. Okay. I created a menu masterclass to create a personal whole food, plant-based, no oil menu for you to lose weight that's delicious and doable for you. And it's going to be live with me, just like this on Zoom, except you're going to talk more. You're going to be unmuted, and I'm going to do it with you, and I'm going to show you my secret private client magic menu method It's going to be Tuesday night, next Tuesday, May 21st, 7 p.m. $97. Grabs your seat for creating a personal whole food, plant-based, no oil menu for you to lose the weight that's delicious and doable for you. And what this is going to do is teach you how to create one for yourself every single week. So this is going to be you knowing exactly what you want to eat at any given time without all the overwhelm of rigid plant-based meal plans and complicated recipes. Let me know if you've ever been stuck in the complicated recipe matrix. This is going to be you expanding your plant-based cooking skills and tastes so you never get bored or feel like you're stuck in the kitchen. This is going to be you creating a simple weekly plant-based menu plan fast that's easy to execute and stick to throughout the week because it's customized by you. And this is going to be you choosing recipes and creating meals you know will get you to your weight and health goals that you're actually going to love because they are simple and delicious for you. This is how we do it in Diet Rebel. So what would it mean to you to overcome all this overwhelm and all these questions about not knowing what to eat to lose the weight and solve your health problems? Let me know what that would mean to you. Let me check the chat. Let's take a minute and check the chat. Linda says she's reminded to reread a few of the classics. Martha says, exhausted. How do I sign up? I'm probably the most challenging person you ever had. Probably not. Probably not. And you know what, Martha? You're not alone. That you think you're alone out there on an island, but when you do this with a group of women, you are going to love it and you are going to know that you're not alone. That is why I'm doing this. That is why. Pam says, menu planning is my problem. Come and plan. Let me teach you how to plan a menu, Pam, for sure. Okay, so what would it mean to you to overcome all the overwhelm about not knowing what to eat to lose the weight and solve our health problems? So, let's just recap for a minute. Are you still afraid of carbs? And what did you learn? Something that's new, any little thing, whenever you approach information, you always want to look at what, instead of saying, oh, I knew that, I heard her say that before, you want to look for what's the part you can take away that is new. So I want to know in the chat, what is something new that you learned today? Or any aha moments and action steps that you have. Martha, I will send you the link to sign up in your Facebook Messenger. Anybody else who wants to join us in the menu masterclass on Tuesday night, just comment in the chat menu masterclass and I'll send you that link so you can save your seat at the table, as it were. Okay, let's see what you are saying. Secret number one is all about the starches. And so when I send the replay tomorrow, you can replay that entire part so that you get it calmly, succinctly, and in the order that it was meant, okay? Linda said, learned about the H2O, love the nerdy science. I knew you would, Linda, I knew it. I love that. Okay, that's wonderful. All right. So keep it coming. If you had an aha moment or you learned something brand new, I want to hear about it. Okay. So come and join us for this menu masterclass. Let's do it together. Let's get it done and let's have fun. This picture is from the last time we did this menu masterclass 2 years ago. I haven't done it in 2 years. I'm going to bring it back next week. And you're going to have fun with other women. And I want you to know that you're not alone. Okay. Let's do it together. So this is exactly what it means when I say we are diet rebels. We are ladies who never want to diet or starve themselves again, ever. Am I right, ladies? Let me know if I'm right. Ladies who are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired of dieting, of failing, of being angry at themselves. Ladies who are determined to get this whole food, plant-based weight loss and health results dialed in seriously and permanently. No more flip-flopping. No more shiny object syndrome. No more squirrel, carbs are bad, or yo-yo dieting ever again. What would that mean to you? What would it mean to you to stand up for your values, for animal rights, for health, for our environment, for whatever it is that you believe is right? Your voice. Now here's one. No more talking about it, but not getting the results or losing the weight yourself. You've got to take a small step and learn to plan your personal menu. Let's do that. That's one small step that you can take. We don't want to just talk about it and amass cookbooks. We've got to lose the weight if we want to be a role model for this lifestyle. No more hypocrite with your pile of plant-based cookbooks. I can't stand for that. We are diet rebels. We are ladies who want to learn how to serve and eat big, beautiful plates of food, of plant foods that heal like this. And you ladies who are in my Diet Rebel Foodies Club, the cooking club monthly membership, which is Linda and Pam, they know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about big, beautiful plates of food. And diet rebels watch themselves releasing the weight weekly, steadily, and joyfully. Is that even a thing? Martha might ask, is that even a thing? Yes, I'm here to show you that it is. And loving what you see in the mirror. That's what I mean when I say we are diet rebels. No more dieting, okay? That's what I stand for. Big, beautiful plates of food, no more starving and dieting, okay? This is the same magic menu method that Christine used for reversing diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure in just her first 12 weeks, losing 21 pounds, eating food like this that she loves. Isn't that amazing, you guys? So that's it for tonight. Go ahead into the comments and let me know if you want to join the menu masterclass. Martha and Pam, I will message you that. And I want to thank you for your time tonight, because when one woman rises, we all rise. And I want you to remember that you have that power to take back your health and your life and make a big impact on everyone around you. I'm inviting you to rise. And I can't wait to see you in our Diet Rebels menu masterclass next Tuesday.